Do you think that concentration is indicative of a bubble?
This is the big question, right?
I know. I'm eager to hear your thoughts.
There's a lot of bubble stuff going on. I have a bubble indicator, which is a composite of things that would take you too long to explain. And the bubble indicator is relatively high. It has to do not only with the pricing, it has to do with who owns it, how the financing is taking place, and so on. And it's a relatively high level of bubble. But bubbles don't pop really until they are popped by tightness of monetary policy and so on. You see, we're going to be more likely to ease rates than to tighten rates. And so you have this two-part economy. The easing of the rates is because most of the economy elements are weakening. If you're looking at a lot of the economy, you see a weakening in that kind of economy. At the same time as there's this bubble going on developing. So a monetary policy for both is not going to work because of that element of divergence. So I think it's probably going to produce more of a bubble. I would think it's probably, something like maybe 98, 99, 1927, 28, and so on. But
before the crash.
Yeah, but even the issue of money and wealth, you can, it's not all with money. You start a unicorn. So what happens is maybe, for example, you raise $100 million, but you value it at $1 billion. Now I'm a billionaire, and it's worth $1 billion. But yet actually nobody ever paid $1 billion for it and so on. And then that becomes its own money. So this dynamic is interesting. Then there are things, of course, about AI which are interesting, in terms of how the length of time that GPUs last, and then data centers, and what the new GPUs are going to be compared with the others, and how quickly they're worthless. So there's a lot of risk. We certainly must say that whether or not it's a bubble and when that bubble is going to burst, maybe we don't know exactly. But what we can say is there's a lot of risk.
I'd say that was a pretty strong warning from Ray Dalio, who has made himself a student of history, and pretty interesting comparing this period to 98, 99, or 1927, 1928, before the crash. Mentioned that with rates still falling, that's usually what bursts the bubble, but said his bubble indicator is pretty high. We also talked about, speaking of AI, how he's utilizing AI and how he just released this new Ray Dalio chatbot where you can actually invest like Ray Dalio. I asked him whether we could all become billionaires like Ray Dalio. You can hear more about that, his thoughts on China, his thoughts on gold. Head over to cnbc.com/pro for the full conversation. Carl.
Yeah, anytime you get Ray Dalio on GPU depreciation, you've gone pretty deep. That was a great piece, Sarah. Thank you.